right, everybody. We are live. It is week 15. We're doing some pick'ems. It is going to be a COVID ravaged week. There are like 45 plus players that are in the COVID protocols. So that is going to make this week extra interesting. Plus, we've got some Saturday games, so everybody gets to wake up bright and early on a Saturday. Especially because one of those games involves a West Coast team. So sorry to all the Californians that are going to have to tune in. Um, we had a good week last week. We'll recap week 14, which went really well for all three of us, a little better for some of us than others. And then we will try to navigate this very interesting week 15 and hopefully do the same thing. So get your money ready to bet, follow us along, and we are going to jump into it. Boys. Hello.
Hello,
Boys,
Ladies
and gentlemen of all ages.
Welcome back for another week. Another week. This week a little more interesting than some of the other weeks due to COVID, since everybody apparently got sick this week. Birdie, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. 5 months. Let's go. Yeah, not great. There's like 45 plus players that are in the COVID protocol. Some major ones. Chris Jones for the Chiefs, Baker for the Browns. Incidentally enough, Baker playing in a Halo tournament right now with Snipe Down. So
Is it like in person?
No, it's online.
Oh, okay.
But
Gotcha.
he's healthy enough, to sit on the couch and
Yeah.
play competitive Halo at a pretty high level with other pros.
Nice.
So,
Is he any good?
he was okay. He's popping off a little bit. It looks like it's like a one pro, one creator, an NFL player, and then like a music personality, music artist. So like Baker's on Snipe Down's team, MVS was on a different team. So it's kind of cool, the format that they've got set up, and they're not playing like super serious like BR's only competitive ranked style. They're doing it with like AR, pistol start, normal spawns on the map, all that good stuff. So it's a leaky connection to the football stuff that we do here. There's football players playing in a Halo tournament. So
Well, speaking of COVID, though, it seems to be running rampant in other sports as well.
Yeah.
NBA, even for our hometown Chicago Bulls, like their whole roster.
Yeah.
Basically,
next two games canceled. So
yeah, and they're fully back. So
yeah,
crazy times.
We'll see. It's gonna make it hard this week to pick, just because who knows? With all the close contact rules, like you never know how many more people, even if they don't test positive, will be deemed close contact. So we'll have to see. And obviously, we were gonna make the picks today and won't be able to change them, but for like betting purposes, it's probably not wise to bet ahead, or maybe extra wise to get some value before like the team you're betting against gets ravaged.
Because it might flip flop depending on which game it is. Yeah.
Yep. So, all right, you guys ready to get into it?
I am absolutely
I'm always ready
to get into it.
All right, let's get into it. Let's look at week 14 here. So, as y'all can see, we had a really good week across the board. Piccadilly gets his first win, going 12-2.
It's not up yet.
Oh, it might help if I actually, did the things I'm supposed to do.
Sorry, that's why I'm here, I think. Maybe.
That's exactly why you're here. Yeah, he went 12-2, so nice job to him.
I had a real good week last week because I went 12-2 and I made fantasy playoffs for the first time in like 8 years.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Give him a round of applause.
I'm real excited about
I would hit the round of applause button if I had one on the stream deck. Yeah, I made it in 4 of my 5 leagues that I do, and I have 3 first round buys. So I'm feeling pretty good, except the league I care the most about. I didn't get a first round buy, and I'm probably going to lose now that D-Hop got ruled out, and I think I'm going to start Kendrick Bourne in his place, which is, I'm just hoping.
I don't know, like
hoping for a big touchdown.
You had you had what 11 points out of D Hop last week, and I think the week before was
He caught a
also like
caught a
real low.
touchdown 2 weeks ago, so he still like didn't kill me,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it's his floor is still pretty good, but it's like at the same time it was only 10 or 11 last week. So I imagine this week would have been a really juicy matchup because they're playing Detroit, and I
Yep.
think it would have been
Yep.
lights out. But we thought that last week with the Rams secondary, and yet D Hop really didn't get too much attention. So
Yeah.
I think he's just hobbled by his injury. And
Yeah.
he's just not himself. Can't get that separation like he used to.
Yeah, and
you
he's
see him as a bust for the. I mean, he's still top 10, right? But
Yeah.
even for people who drafted him like in the middle of the season, he was good for a couple games, but that he got hurt, and then it was just downhill from getting hurt. So it's like,
yeah, I think for real life football, he had a great year. I think for fantasy purposes, he was overdrafted.
yeah,
I mean, in some leagues, he was like back end of the first round, very early second round type player, and he didn't like see the target volume I think that was predicted, like with them drafting Rondale and AJ Green reviving his dead legs and career. Like the target distribution was much wider instead of last year. It was like really narrow. It was all D Hop all the time. He's seeing like 10 plus targets a game. So I think people were banking on that, myself included, because I have him in 2 leagues. So thankfully in my other league I get a bye week, so I don't have to deal with it this week. So
Yeah.
but yeah. So but yeah, good week. You clearly Piccadilly clearly knew that Lamar was going to get hurt, so picked Cleveland. He has a crystal ball.
coming from a mile away.
And picked the Rams pre their injury updates and COVID updates. And it still ended up working out for him. So Drizzle and I look like idiots for picking the Cardinals, apparently. So
Yeah, I mean,
that one I was a little sad about because in my I have a big old pick'em that I'm in with like most of my family that is like money based. And when what was the news that came out that something had happened to the Rams, and I'm blanking on the moment. But something came out and we were like, oh, that's an easy win for the Cardinals.
the COVID, because like Jalen
Oh,
Ramsey,
right, yeah, all the COVID stuff.
Higbee,
yep.
and somebody else. And they're like, well, their top 2 corners were out. Yeah,
Yep.
Ramsey and whoever the
Right.
other guy is. And they're like, well, Arizona's got to throw all over them, and guess what? It did not happen.
Tyler did not have a good day.
No. But yeah, Piccadilly and I both hit our locks, and Drizzle missed his first lock of the year.
Yeah. Give it to me, boys. Give it to me.
Yeah,
It's all right.
I mean, it was an interesting pick.
Broken.
Yeah, you were trying to go bold again. So basically, since we're doing win-loss with the lock for our little sushi bet, Derek and I have both pulled within 3 wins of Drizzle, and I pulled within 1 win of him overall for just regular win-loss, and Piccadilly's within 2. So it's tight. This week kind of helped Piccadilly and myself bring it back a little bit. So we're hoping to carry it over.
To keep it competitive.
Yeah,
I'm just lucky I didn't do anything worse than 9-5.
Yeah, I mean the Detroit and Washington killed you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I was thinking with Detroit, to be honest with you.
It's okay.
But
I mean, there were.
I just thought maybe
both
this
San
was the
Francisco
time they
and
would turn
Tampa
around.
Bay.
You know?
Yeah. But yeah, let's we ready for 15? Anything else you'd like to take a victory lap, Pika, on anything?
No, I think I'm good.
All right.
I'm just gonna do it again this week,
Yep. We're going
Oh,
undefeated.
hold on. I got Atlanta right. Woo. Woo woo. That's
what I know. Bird teams over cat teams. Every time.
Yep.
All right. Week 15. Let's jump in here. So we have what was looking to be, probably still will be, just a banger of a matchup between Kansas City and the Chargers. Kansas City giving 3, over under a 52. Chris Jones is going to be out, though. He's on the COVID list. And then for the Chargers, they have a tackle out. Derwin James is banged up. Austin Eckler's banged up. So
Asante Samuel, banged up, game
yeah,
time decisions.
so definitely a few key injuries in this one that could potentially shift this. Casey looks to be rounding into form. Obviously, they got to beat up on the Raiders twice in the last 4 weeks and look really good. And then, don't score as much against the Cowboys and the Broncos. And the Chargers got to beat up on the Giants last week and looked really good. So I don't know if like the recent wins really are an indication of things to happen in this game, but I do think the Chiefs are peaking. Their defense has been playing really well. They haven't given up more than or 20 or more points since week 5. So that I think the Chargers can score, but I don't think you'll see the full Justin Herbert effect. Plus, who knows, with Keenan Allen, I think he actually had COVID. So we'll see like what his conditioning level is and stuff. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here on the road, in a win that they need to kind of lock up this division. And I think they are rounding into last year's form here.
Yeah, I feel like at the moment you can't really bet against KC because they're on a 6-game win streak. And the Chargers defense against the run game has not been great, and I think the Chiefs can take advantage of that. Um, they they did, I believe, last year lose at Arrowhead. I think it was like 30-24 against the Chargers. So they're more than likely itching to take another shot and get some sweet revenge on that. So with those two in the same spots, I don't at the moment want to bet against KC until I see any damage to their armor.
All right, are we starting with dissension, Driz? Is this what's happening?
I didn't even say anything yet.
Because
Why do you think
I
that?
feel like we've done this enough times now that I know you.
So I feel with Casey, I feel like there's gonna be a hiccup coming.
See?
I feel like there's a hiccup coming, and but the problem here is for me, not necessarily with their defense, but Austin Eckler's ankle. Because their backup, Justin Jackson's not too good, even though been seen to be better when he does play. But he's not. He's not Austin, right?
Yeah.
Um, he's questionable for Thursday, so I uh, I
He
want to pick LA, but
he is gonna play for what it's worth. It's just how healthy will he be?
yeah. You know what? Why not? We'll start off strong.
Dissension to start the
Oh
week.
man,
I love it.
I don't think we've had a Thursday game where Price dissented against us. I think it was always either me or Rain. Let's take a look back at it. Let's see. Same. Rain's dissension. Same. Yeah, no, since week 9, we have not had a
Yeah.
Drizzle dissension. So
I thought
we'll
of
see how
About
that
time.
goes for this.
I thought of all the games. It may just be because of how much you love their jerseys, but
Dude, did you see
It
those
could be.
blue
They
ones?
looked
Those
great.
navy blue. Man, those were
Yeah.
sick.
It might just be because I know how much you love their jerseys that I had a gut feeling that you were gonna take the Chargers here. So
Yeah.
my gut continues to be correct, which means KC will win.
I just want to
So
see. I just want to see Justin Herbert just like outperform Mahomes.
Yeah.
So here's the
So
issue, Rain, is that in weeks that so if we all pick them together, we
Mhm.
win. If we all pick them together, we have lost. But in weeks that one person has dissented away from my picks have lost. So
yes.
so
God damn it.
in week 12, I picked Detroit and Bryce picked Detroit. You picked Chicago. You got Chicago correct on that one. And then week 14, last week, we both picked Pittsburgh and you got Minnesota. So
So clearly it's when I go against you guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
So either this could work out in our favor, or Bryce is getting this one, and it should be his lock.
All right, on to the next one.
But it is going over. It's going to go over 52.
Oh,
I think it's gonna go way over.
Yeah, I think it's going way over as well. So we have Saturday games this week. This is the first of the 2 Saturday games, I believe, unless they're kicking off at the same time. I don't remember.
No, it's going to be one in the afternoon and then one late.
So sorry for you Californians that have to get up early to watch your Raiders. Raiders giving 1.5 going into Cleveland. Or sorry, 1 over under of 39.5. The Raiders outside of their game against Dallas have looked really bad. They only have scored over 20 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times this year. The Browns are Pro Football Focus's number 2 ranked defense. I know that Baker's out with COVID. David Njoku's out with COVID. Kareem Hunt is doubtful. They've got a banged up offensive line and an offensive lineman on the COVID protocol as well. But the Raiders have Carl Nassib banged up. I don't think Darren Waller is going to play again. So that receiving core is super depleted. No Kenyon Drake to kind of mix it up for Josh Jacobs. I still think this game goes over the 39.5 because it's just such a low total. And I think the Browns with Chubb and Ernest Johnson will still be able to move the ball on the ground. And Baker can do enough, or I'm sorry, Case Keenum can do enough. I'm going to take the home team. Going to take Cleveland riding high after beating Baltimore, and continue riding high with probably an improvement at quarterback, just with how banged up Baker's been. And Case Keenum's, he's serviceable. He's competent. They won the game that he started a few weeks ago as well. So I will take Cleveland at home.
I mean, Vegas just didn't look good against Kansas City last week. And it wasn't that they started off pretty well and then they just kind of gave up. It just looked like they were giving up from the first, the start. It didn't. I don't know if they even care about the rest of the season at this point. The amount of people out for Cleveland does bother me a little bit, but I feel like in this situation, since the coin is now dead, I gotta go with Cleveland.
Yeah, so the line started at 6.5, and now it's all the way down to 1. As much as COVID is running rampant through the Browns, I just don't think Las Vegas is I think they just are giving up. They just look terrible. They haven't scored more than 16 points in their last 6 games, and the Browns defense isn't giving up more than 16 points twice in the last 7 games. So as much as I don't have confidence in picking the Browns with Case Keenum, because I don't think he's serviceable at all. I don't agree with your you Rain about him personally. So, but even though I just think they'll run all over him, and I'm gonna take Cleveland.
It's tough. It's a tough one because there's so many people that are going to be out, and Case Keenum is, I don't know, he's just an average quarterback or an average backup quarterback. He's not great, but he's not bad either.
I think he's better than
him and Nick Chubb.
A lot of the backup quarterbacks around the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what is that saying?
I mean, that's an important thing for a team to have. A lot of quarterbacks don't start all 16. So having a valuable backup quarterback, or I guess 17 now, having a backup quarterback that's competent. I mean, it's not like he was terrible when he was in Minnesota. So I'm not saying he's great by any means, but I also don't think it's a massive downgrade from Baker. So I think this is also the first time we've all gone against Vegas. At least with an updated line. Like
so.
Driz was saying, Cleveland opened I think at 6.5. And then with all the COVID
No, we all
news,
picked Kansas City last week.
That's right. Yeah.
Kansas City was the dog last week.
No,
We picked against what?
yeah, you said this is the first time we picked against, all three of us have
Sorry,
picked against Las Vegas,
not
but we did that
Vegas,
last week.
the Raiders. Vegas, the sports book.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry. See, there's a problem with them moving.
Yeah,
Not Vegas,
This is
Oakland. Yeah. Vegas, the sports book. I think I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've all gone against the current line, at least. So we'll see how that works out for us. Clearly, we're not smarter than the bookmakers, so it's probably not going to go well. But
I think we might be smarter than them with the next game.
yeah, New England visiting Indy. Indy giving 2.5. Another over that I like at 45.5. I think I'm going to be the dissension based on that comment. So the Patriots have won 7 straight. I think last week you can't really look too much into because that game was just wild, right? With the snow
that was nuts.
Mac Jones only throwing the ball 3 times. But they haven't played anybody really in the last 7 games except the Chargers. It's the only good team that they've beaten, and that game was close.
What happens when you say that and they're like the end of the season and they're number 1 seed?
I mean, that they very well may be, but they still haven't played anybody. That's a product of their schedule, and that you can only play who's on your schedule. But if you look at their losses, they lost to the Bucks, the Cowboys, the Saints, and the Dolphins. 3 of those teams are actually, I guess technically the Dolphins are a borderline playoff team too. Those are all borderline playoff teams, and their wins have come against the Jets, the Texans, the Jets, the Chargers, the Panthers, the Browns, the Falcons, the Titans, and the Bills. So the Bills game you just throw away because you can't really use it for analysis. The Titans were terribly banged up and are finally getting healthy again, but they're a borderline playoff team or the 1 seed in the South. And then the Browns are a borderline playoff team. Every other win is against dumpster fire teams. I mean, you have 2 wins against the Jets. So
Atlanta's a borderline
but they're terrible.
playoff.
That's just because the rest of the NFC
might be,
Yeah.
but they're 6 and 7 and have an outside chance.
I have no idea how they're a playoff team, borderline playoff team.
Cordero Patterson.
I think that the Colts,
it really is just Cordero.
I think that the Colts, though, while they also have not played as many bad teams, they haven't had a tough schedule. But I really think that them hanging with the Bucks in that game was really like a turning point for them, and really showed that with Jonathan Taylor and Carson Wentz being, I guess, comeback player of the year, probably. I think that at home, this will actually be a test for New England, and I think that Indy has enough weapons that they can get a win at home against who I consider an overrated Patriots team.
Funny enough, not a dissension. Because I'm also choosing Indy. I was kind of leaning towards New England, and that this would be more of a test to see if they can handle it. But looking back at previous weeks, you're right. They really just haven't played a team that is considered good to the current standards, right? So I feel like this is going to be close, but I'm seeing the Colts win like 23-21. Like it's going to be real close.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they blow them out by any means, but I don't think Mac Jones has really had to do much. And I think against this offense, he's going to have to put up points.
So I have 2 things. Going back to your, they haven't played anybody. Or, good teams. We thought Buffalo...
Hey, Rob Bob, thanks for the follow, man.
Right?
Appreciate it.
We're one of the better teams in the league, in the AFC for sure. We thought they were the top seed for the most part. So, yeah, they've fallen off, but I still think that shows more about what the Patriots are than what the Bills are. Also, New England has won 8 in a row against Indianapolis. So You guys are gonna lose this one, and the Patriots are gonna win.
I mean, now that Pika picked with me, I don't feel so good about my pick anymore. But
Listen, 8 in a row, but that's 8 in a row of like fucking Brady versus Manning. Like it's not even.
No, it's
Brady
not.
versus
I
Jacoby
mean,
Brissett,
not.
Yeah.
Brady versus Andrew Luck, Brady versus if I don't even know if they played when last year when Phillip Rivers was there. I'd have to go back, but yeah, like I mean, I get your again. I think it's gonna be close. I think the line from Vegas is pretty close to correct. I just I think Mac Jones might get exposed a little bit here. That
Yeah.
that Colts front seven is very good. So I'm glad we have some passion on both sides for this one. I think this is going to be one of the
That's gonna be a
better.
fun game to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the. Oops, it's going to be one of the better games this week. I think.
Well, and that's why it's Saturday evening.
Yeah, great Thursday game, good Saturday night game. I think the NFL did a good job with scheduling for this week. Obviously, because it's all scripted, they can just tell us what they know when this stuff's going to happen. So. All right, on to our next one. The football team visiting the Birds, and Philly giving 6.5 at home, 44.5 for the total. Washington had won 4 straight before losing to Dallas last week. They have Kyle Allen in the COVID protocol. So I haven't seen anything yet, but there were rumors that Heineke could be a close contact just because of the QB room. But I didn't see anything official.
Both him and Hurts are both expected to play unless barring something like you said, COVID related or just not good enough.
Kyle Fuller also popped up on the COVID list for Washington. Terry McLaurin hasn't cleared concussion protocol yet, so they're pretty banged up. The Eagles have Jalen Hurts banged up, but I think he's going to play. Jordan Howard banged up. Miles Sanders banged up. Jason Kelsey banged up. But I think for the most part, they're all on track to play this week. If not, I mean, if Jalen Hurts can't play, we get the true savior, the mustache, Gardner Minshew, in there again. I think the football team had been overachieving a bit. Their defense had started to play better even after the loss of Chase Young. So they beat, the Bucks, the Panthers, who are terrible, and then the Sea Chickens and the Raiders. But I think at home, divisional game, I think Philly will be able to do enough. It's a bird team, so bird teams generally are better than human, or I guess they're not even anything anymore. They're just a football. So I think Philly here at home, also kind of fighting for their playoff lives. And then they see Washington again in 2 weeks on the road. So if they split, I'll just take the team at home for each game. Kind of split the difference here, and I will take the Eagles, go Birds, to get a win at home.
Here's the thing. No one's gonna understand this reference, but every time Mango loses a Smash tournament and the Eagles play in the same week, the Eagles have lost. And he just lost Summit in the finals, so I'm taking Washington.
I have a question about that though. Didn't he technically retire, so he's not like a Smash player anymore?
No.
Oh, I thought he had.
No,
I thought
he tweeted back out saying that he wishes he could retire, but he loves playing Smash too much, so he's not going to retire.
So, all right.
Good analysis.
These teams have been able to beat or just blow out teams, right? Eagles beat kick the Broncos' ass, and I guess the Broncos aren't necessarily a good team, and then Washington beat the Bucks, but then the Giants lose to the Eagles lose to the Giants, and then Washington has lost 3 games by 14 or more this year. So this is a hard game. I mean, it could go either way. I don't see Philly 6.5. I think it's gonna go, like by a field goal either way.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna pick Washington.
Let's go. Let's go.
Football team.
Let's go, Bryce. Let's go, football team.
Go Birds. Yeah, I think this one's an interesting one. I think there's some value in Washington getting the points if you're betting the spread. Washington has played the hardest strength of schedule, or has had the hardest strength of schedule this year too, which is interesting that they're 6-7 and kind of in the mix for a wild card spot. But these AFC East divisional games are always so close and weird. So yeah, we'll see. This is a lot of dissension this week. I like it. Clearly we're not all going 16-0 then. So
Right.
something's
I mean, maybe one of us. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe one of us.
Something has got to give here. We shall see. All right, next game.
I think this next game will be a pretty easy one.
I think we'll probably all be in lockstep on this one. Panthers visiting the Bills. The Bills giving 10.5. The Bills have really not looked good. The last, again, I'm throwing away the Patriots game just because of the weather, but they didn't really look good against the Bucs until like the last quarter and a half. And they didn't look good against Indy. So like against good teams, they have not really looked good. Or against Jacksonville, apparently, who has their number. But the Panthers have looked worse. And I had saw a stat floating around on the internet that Cam has lost 11 straight starts for the Panthers, dating back to his, pre getting cut by them. And he just looks awful. And the mix of PJ Walker and Cam, like it's not going to work. So I don't know how much more we really need to say. The Bills are at home and they should blow out the Panthers here.
No, yeah, I think this is just a good like reset game.
Get right game. Get right game.
Get right game. I just don't trust Panthers anymore. Like the last few weeks, either going for them or against them, it just doesn't. It don't add up no more. So I'm going with Buffalo on this one.
Well, how can you pick Carolina when they don't even know who to play as their quarterback?
Right.
Yeah, true.
Like,
in the same game, they don't know who's going to be quarterback.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, drive to drive.
And I think that's what I was banking on last week. They're not a good football team. And even if Atlanta's not a good football team, I think they're better than Carolina.
Yeah.
This is easy. I think they blow them out, and Josh Allen gets slightly back on track. So going with Buffalo.
I like it. We're back on track.
Our luck is that this is the upset game.
I was thinking that in my head the whole time thinking about this. I was like, this is the game, and now Buffalo's just a bad team.
I was thinking that the
whole time.
Like I don't know what their deal is. Like, obviously they lost Tre'Davious White, and that hurts them on the back end. For this game specifically, though, I don't think you're really worried about. Like DJ Moore is great, but like you're not worried about anybody getting him the ball. Like that he can be as open as he wants to be, and like you still have to have somebody who can throw to an open receiver. Yeah. Like Cam's like a career 52% completion percentage. Like he's just not a good quarterback, especially not in this later part of his career here. So I know we probably said very similar things about like the Bills against the Jags, but like I don't see this being the upset game if there is an upset game this week. So I think we're all pretty safe on this one. Lock it in for lock of the week.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
All right. Next game, the Jets, which we unfortunately have to talk about, visiting the Dolphins. Miami at home, giving 9.5, 42.5 for the over/under. Michael Carter still probably not returning for the Jets. They've now lost Elijah Moore. and Corey Davis. And then the Dolphins. Miles Gaskin during the bye week tested positive for COVID, but has not cleared from what I've seen so far. So they may be without him, but Malcolm Brown may be coming back. Other than that, they don't have a ton of injuries or COVID concerns. They're on a little win streak. They've won 5 in a row, which makes it not a great pick probably to like continue their winning streak because it is the Dolphins. But the Jets are just terrible. They have some like weird wins. They somehow beat the Titans, somehow beat the Bengals, and I mean, not somehow. The Texans are also bad, but they beat the Texans. But they just don't have a lot of offensive weapons. Their defense is the 28th ranked defense by Pro Football Focus, and Miami has looked better. So I will be taking the Fins here, and hopefully what is an easy victory for Miami.
Yeah, I'm also hoping their defense just shows up and intercepts every pass and runs them for pick sixes on every throw.
I take
'cause
it
need
you're
a
starting their
big day.
defense. Yeah.
Yeah, I had them or Tennessee, and I'm going with Miami against the Jets. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, I'm also picking here.
Yeah, the Jets are a bad football team. Jets
Yeah.
haven't won in Miami since 2015, and Tua has had a 100+ passer rating with just 1 interception over his last 3 starts. I think he's starting to get it a bit more, and I won't dissent here because the Jets are terrible. We're gonna go with Miami.
How do you guys feel about
Also,
Tua long term?
long
I
term,
think
pretty
he
solid.
need.
He's a
I
great quarterback.
I don't know about that. I think we need to like see him longer and healthy.
Yeah.
Maybe like a whole rest of this year and next year, then I'll have a better idea of who he is.
Yeah, I think
He
he's an
has
interesting
a 100+
prospect.
passer rating with just 1 interception through his last 3 starts. So New York has allowed 30+. New York has allowed 30+ points in each of its last 2 losses. So I feel like this will be another potentially big game for Tua to just. Waddle's gonna have like 4 touchdowns, and we're all gonna be waddling through the week.
Waddle. Yeah, I think if they get an actual running game, I'd be interested to see like what a more balanced attack from them looks like. Because like Miles Gaskin is so inefficient, and I'd be curious to see what an improved offensive line with a run game looks like with Tua. Because I think he's an interesting prospect. I have this weird thing when I watch lefty quarterbacks that like makes me uncomfortable though. So I just don't know. I don't know what that is. They really make me uncomfortable. So
Let's go throw a ball around for a little bit because I'm left-handed.
oh yeah, let's not. Let's pass. All right. Well, we get to talk about my favorite team. So we'll just lock this in now with Dallas. Dallas.
Let's get over with.
Yeah, Dallas visiting New York.
To talk about it.
Giving 10.5. I think the Giants are an interesting cover play here, value wise, depending on how the line shifts. Because I could see this line shifting to like 11 or 11.5 before kickoff. The Giants came out and said that they might give Jake Fromm some snaps, and he's been seeing some snaps with the first team, but Mike Glennon is still going to start. So anytime you have Mike Glennon starting, that's a recipe for a loss. And the Giants are doing exactly what they should be doing and losing so that they can have 2 top 10 picks. So yeah, I will be taking Dallas. Pika's taking Dallas. Driz.
Dissension is not among us right now. Yeah, I had to because I gave you guys both hope right there.
For a brief second.
The Giants right now.
A brief second.
No, we're going Dallas. That's the Giants. I mean, even if it's Glennon or Fromm, even if it was Daniel Jones, they're not winning this game.
I think Daniel Jones would make it a little more interesting, especially with Zeke and Pollard banged up. But even with that said, I think Dallas can probably just pass the ball 50 times and still win the game. I don't even know if they really need to run the ball. I also like the under in this game. I think even if Dallas puts up like 30, I don't know if the Giants have any sort of offense in them. I mean, outside of last week where they somehow put up 21 with like a late Saquon touchdown, like single digits against Miami, 13 against Philly, 10 against Tampa, 17 against the Chiefs. Like it has not looked great. So they have a tough time going over 20. But yeah, I think Dallas is a pretty pretty easy lock here for this week. All right, next game. Tennessee getting healthier, visiting the Steelers, who look absolutely terrible, even though they keep making these like late game surges, like against the Chargers and last week against Minnesota, but they just they are pretty bad overall. They're still pretty banged up. Big Ben's hurt. TJ Watt's still banged up. They've got Mike Adams on the COVID list. So again, you could have some uh, close contacts. Joe Hayden, questionable. The Titans are getting healthier. They've got AJ Brown and Julio both seemingly healthy, and Tannehill's been looking better, at least last week against the Jags, which is what you're supposed to do. So I am actually, as much as I shit talked Tennessee, I think they're getting healthy again. They're still playing for that number one seed in the AFC. It's an important game for them to win. I think the Steelers are just not a good team, and the Titans can stop the run. They have a decent enough defense. They're efficient offensively. They have this now weird two-headed running attack that seems to be working for them the last few games. So I will be taking the Titans.
Yeah, I feel like if Pittsburgh came back and won last week, I might have a different like view of this game, but I don't because they didn't, and I don't see like Minnesota's not good, and Pittsburgh couldn't stay on them for the most part. You know, there was that nice push towards the end, and I really thought they were gonna have a comeback, but I don't see that happening with Tennessee. Their defense has just been really really good this year. I don't. This had me conflicted because like I feel like they're gonna just steamroll Pittsburgh's defense. Um, so having both Miami's defense and Tennessee's defense against just trash teams, I'm hoping I'm making the right decision by picking Miami over Tennessee's defense. But odds are I could see Roethlisberger just getting sacked like every play. So that'll just be my luck, I guess.
I I think it's hard to pick against pick these two, like who to pick for this game. Tennessee has been mediocre, maybe a little bit better than mediocre this year. Um, like they play down to their competition, and then Pittsburgh they beat Baltimore and then they lose to Minnesota. Um, I think this game though, I think it throws another wrench in the playoffs, and I think Pittsburgh wins at home.
Interesting.
Okay, okay, that is a very interesting pick.
Nah, I mean you see Vegas only giving Tennessee 1.5. Nah, not at all. Not
I
at
just
all.
don't think it's gonna be close. Like I just don't. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think
It's like
Pittsburgh's
I'm
just
not
gonna blow
feeling
them out. I
confident
agree.
about a Pitts. No.
Yeah, I mean I obviously you could say that about a lot of games, but they are home. So, and Mike Tomlin, we've talked about it a couple times, generally likes when they're dogs because he can rally, but they just haven't looked the same this year. That the offensive line was starting to look like it was gelling a little bit when they like beat the Bears and beat the Browns, and they were looking a little bit better against some decent defenses. Um, but the win against Baltimore, that you could say, I guess, could have gone to overtime, and that could have also been a loss if Baltimore wins the coin toss and then marches down and scores. But yeah, I mean, there's a close game, and they just don't really score a lot. So I don't know. I think Tennessee's defense
guess
is enough here.
There's also this fear that Pittsburgh has won their last 3 meetings, so the chance of the upset is still there, but Pittsburgh's defense has been too shaky, so Tennessee is going to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's a crazy pick. I don't think it's like the Detroit pick against Denver last week.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And a
You ready
game.
for the best game of the week?
Yeah, I'm sure in a game that everybody
Actually, so
really wants to talk about.
did you guys see the news that just came out a couple hours ago? That like their old they had a kicker, Lambo, accused Urban Meyer of like kicking him.
Yeah, before the season or in
and
preseason or whatever.
he was like, "I'm the head coach. I'll kick you whenever the fuck I want."
That seems like white
Apparently,
privilege.
apparently, a trusted Jags insider, Dilla, appears to believe that news about Urban Meyer's coming soon. He's got a couple tweets that were just like, "Hold on to your butts, big news coming." And someone had responded to him, advocating for a fire Meyer chant at the next game, and he responded, "Let's see if he's even there."
Oh,
So there's a big chance he might be getting fired before Sunday.
I mean, I think when you call your coaching staff idiots and make them
Yeah.
defend their resumes when you're the person who hired them,
Yeah.
is not a great look. Because then doesn't that make you the idiot who hired them? I don't know what bizarro dark timeline we live in where Jacksonville's giving points in a game. I know it's the Texans and I know it's Davis Mills. But
Davis Mills didn't even look that bad last week.
yeah, he had over 300 yards. He was at the beginning. He was like the top quarterback.
Yes.
I just can't in good faith pick. Talking about the spread, I would never ever take a Jacksonville favored team. That's just bad karma. I just am really shocked by this line. Plus, Josh Allen has a banged up arm. James Robinson still has his foot issue. Also, Urban Meyer just likes to bench James Robinson for fumbling, even though he's the most talented player on your team. Trevor Lawrence does not look like the number 1 overall pick or worthy of a first round pick at all. He looks like a project quarterback. That's probably an Urban Meyer problem more than a Trevor Lawrence problem, and the fact that they have no one for him to throw to. But the fact that this line is what it is, it's like I feel like Vegas is begging people to like bet the Jags for some reason and like trick people into thinking that Vegas is smarter than everybody else, which they generally are. But
I would 100% take Houston. Take the points. Yeah.
I mean, I would just bet Houston right on the money line for the better. Like, I think Houston just outright wins this game.
Well, if you do want to bet this game, I don't necessarily recommend any of you guys out there to do that. But
not financial advice.
Yeah.
No.
Don't take Jacksonville, please don't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's crazy. I don't even know. There's really not even a whole lot to say except like I don't understand this line.
You have anything to say, Derek?
Yeah, anybody want to add? No. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's pretty much it.
I was just gonna go back, just talking about the Urban Meyer stuff. This is why he was never a good coach. When he was in college, he just had good talent because he paid the players. You know, like he didn't really have to coach. Just like, hey, we're better than the other team across from us. Like, and now guess what? Now he actually has to coach, and guess what? He is not any good. Well, I know the Jags don't have a terribly good roster, but you have some talent. You have some talent there. You could win more than 2 games. You can score more than 15 points.
Yeah, like, and I just the fact that I think it was after they played Denver and he said Vic Fangio like it's like playing Alabama every week in the NFL. Like, yeah, what did you think it was going to be easy? Like, these are all Alabama quality players because it's the NFL, dude. Yeah. Like, that's where the best college players go. What did you think? You don't get to play like Atlantic Coastal Carolina once a year and blow them out 83-0. Like, it's not college. Like, it's just such a bad look that they not only made him the coach, but they gave him like full control. They gave him like the Belichick treatment to like make all personnel and coaching decisions. Like he's basically the
Yeah.
GM.
I don't know
So
why. Well, he'll be gone soon, hopefully.
he should. It's bad. I like Jacksonville as a franchise. I just don't. I can't believe what's happened with them. It's bad.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's enough of that game. That's just getting me all fired up about two crappy
Fired
teams
up.
for some reason. Like they're just I don't know why I care so much. They're awful. Like
I think it's just because Urban Meyer just seems like a piece of shit.
yeah, also
You
that.
know,
He
like,
really does. He really does.
Not he is a piece of
yeah,
shit.
you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. 100%.
The Cardinals visiting Detroit. The Cards giving 12.5. Over under of 47.5. I mean, Bryce, if you just want to lock in Detroit now, you feel free.
Oh well, I'll give you a little snippet real quick though.
All right.
They are obviously they only have one win. The Lions are 1-5 at home, but 3 of those losses are by 8 points or less. So you let that marinate for a little bit.
I think they're an interesting cover play.
Sure.
Yeah.
Taking the points. I think that's a lot of
Also,
points in the NFL.
also Connor is on the injured list or on the whatever it's called. So I don't know if he's gonna play, and it might be a game that they rest him because it's Detroit.
No, I think he was at practice today.
Oh.
Chase Edmonds is supposed to come back though, so his workload may be scaled back a little bit. So
yeah,
good news for anybody potentially going against him in fantasy. Also D Hop. Today news came out that they're shutting him down at least for the rest of the regular season. He's getting a second opinion on his leg after his MRI today, so he'll be out.
Yeah.
But they want to maybe have him back for the playoffs. The Lions are Jamal Williams is on the COVID list. I don't know what DeAndre Swift's status is, if he's going to play or not. I don't know if it really matters, to be honest. I think this is a pretty easy lock for Arizona here, so I will be taking the Birds, the other Birds.
Do they? Oh, no, they may not because they lost. They don't clinch if they win, right? Because they lost last week.
I think
Or
you're
do
right.
they?
I don't think they do.
Like an
I think
overall
regardless.
playoff spot, I think technically no, but basically yes.
Yeah, I mean it's like Detroit looked awful against Denver last week. And I imagine it's going to just carry over into this week. So going with Arizona as well.
Yeah, they got their one
Yeah,
win. They're good.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's all they needed.
I'm going with Arizona. I just thought Detroit would play better against a mediocre Denver team, especially coming off that win. But I don't know. But so I just don't see them winning a game the rest of the year. So
Yeah, I'm with you there. At least I won't be picking them. They may, but I will not.
Yeah,
It
no,
doesn't
you're
matter what the matchup is. I just won't pick them.
yeah, for sure.
All right, Pika, this is your team. You go for it.
This is my team. I was losing my shit when they won in overtime last week. I mean, Cincinnati played pretty well. I watched a majority of the game. Jimmy surprisingly wasn't Jimmy that game, and I don't have his stat line, but it was nice to not see him throw like 4 interceptions. So, um, this one, I think I just read the stat that Cordell is the current red zone leader with like a rating of like 90, I think.
Pretty
Um,
nuts.
and I think he is like far ahead compared to whoever's right behind him. But I mean, if who else does Atlanta have outside of if he's not in there running the ball to the end zone? I don't see them
You're
being
telling
able
me
to
Russell
break
Gage
through.
doesn't strike fear in your heart?
Oh,
Not
Kyle Pitts.
not really. Not I mean not against the Niners defense. It like even against Seattle, like they looked really good. Yeah, we lost that game, but I just don't see it being a problem for this one, and I will be, as always, taking my pick, my safe bet here.
Bryce?
I don't have much to say, and I don't know how Atlanta keeps doing it, but they've won 6 games, and their defense is
Yeah,
terrible. And like you said, I mean, what do you do with a superstar? And essentially, that's what Patterson's been for them this year. You get him the ball. So I think San Francisco's the better team. I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta pulled the upset here, but I'm not gonna take them. I'm gonna take San Antonio.
yeah. I mean, their defense has been really good at holding down the star players, though. Like they really, like when they played Seattle, like DK barely made an impact that game. So I see the same thing happening here. Like they have plenty of tape to watch to stop Patterson. I don't really. He might get, he might slip through on a couple, but I don't see him having that great of a game.
So let me give you some tidbits to maybe make you feel a little better, Driz, about your pick here. So just PFF grades: Atlanta 30th for defense, 15th for offense. San Fran 8th for defense, 8th for offense. So just by pure PFF grades, they're the better team. You say they have 6 wins, but the best team that they've beat is the Saints. They have also beat the Jags, the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Giants. So they are the betters or pickers' dream. They beat the bad teams that they're supposed to beat pretty much every time, and they lose to the teams they're supposed to lose to. It makes it very easy. I feel like to pick Atlanta games, except for last week. I don't know what I was thinking. Carolina is just terrible. I don't know. I got all caught up in the Cats.
That caught us both. Yeah.
So I think this is a pretty easy San Fran win here. The number, I don't know about the number. I'd like the over in this. I think Atlanta still will be able to score a little bit. They're not a terrible offense. Cordell Patterson has been good. They don't have much else. Kyle Pitts started to look a little bit better, but I think Calvin Ridley taking time away from the team really just kind of tanked Pitts' value, because who else do you really need to double out of that receiving core? Russell Gage and Zacchaeus, like neither of those guys need to be doubled. They're just guys, replacement level football NFL players. So I think this should make you feel a little bit better. I think San Fran, especially at home, I know they haven't been great at home, but at some point you need to win your games when you're at home, and I think they do that here against a bad Atlanta team. Now for a team,
I was leaning Atlanta, but they're playing a better team.
now for a game and a team that I've slandered, and now a team that Driz has slandered a couple times today. The Bengals going into Denver. The Broncos are giving 2.5, which I think is a little interesting. Even though these teams have the same record, they have both played the 32nd and 31st worst, or the worst and second worst strength of schedules for both of these teams. Probably why I felt like the Bengals have been pretenders most of the year. They are the 4th best ranked offense for PFF, and the Broncos are 20th in offense and defense. So a little below average, actually, in terms of grades. Burrow a little banged up. T. Higgins a little banged up for the Broncos. Melvin Gordon a little banged up. Apparently Javonte Williams popped up with a leg thing, but they both should play. No real major injuries from what I've been seeing. This game opened Denver -1.5 and has moved to Denver -2.5. Every time I do this, I get bit, and whatever I pick for Cincy always goes the other way. But I think that Cincy is actually the better team, just slightly, even though neither team has played anyone really all year. And I think Denver, while they have a good running attack and they have talent on the outside with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Joe Burrow is just a straight up better quarterback than Teddy is by leaps and bounds, and the defenses are close enough in terms of talent that I think the efficiency and talent on Cincy's offense is going to put them over the top. So I will take Cincy on the road to beat Denver.
I hate this game, and I would prefer to not pick either of them and to just remove it from the slate. We haven't had a week where picking Cincinnati has worked out in my favor, and I haven't had a week where picking against Cincinnati has worked out in my favor. So,
To the coin.
to the coin. Week 9, I picked Cincinnati against Cleveland. They lost. Their bye week, I believe, was week 10. They didn't play. Week 11, they played. Who did they play?
The
They
Raiders.
played Vegas. Picked Vegas. They beat Vegas. So week 12, they played
the
fucking
Steelers.
Pittsburgh. Picked Pittsburgh. They lost to Cincinnati. We all picked Cincinnati against Chargers. They lost to the Chargers. So last week was the only week that I picked correctly against Cincinnati.
We should have let
They
Bryce
lost
go
in
first
overtime
because I think he has a better feel. We should have let him pick first and then just gone off of his pick. He's the Cincinnati whisperer.
Maybe. Let's see here. Before I make my pick, Bryce, what do you got? What do you got to say?
The Broncos aren't any good against the AFC North. They're 0-3, but 7-3 against everyone else. They also somehow haven't won a Week 15 home game. Week 15 home game since 2003. They're 0-6 since then. That's a pretty insane trend. And I know it probably doesn't matter at all.
Just one of those statistical anomalies.
Yeah. Like, that's interesting. Like, you go back and like, oh, wow. All right. But I think the Bengals have kind of sputtered here lately. I think this is the game that they get back on track. I'm not taking Denver. Not a chance.
I just like Denver. It's weird because I feel like we've been watching different Denver games because Denver hasn't looked that bad. And I like neither has Cincinnati. So for me, we're losing this week because I'm also
Descends
taking
upon
Cincinnati.
us, you son of a
No,
gun.
I'm taking Cincinnati so that we all lose this week.
Yeah, I could see that being the red across the whole thing right there.
If it is, I'm never picking Cincinnati again. I don't even care. Like I'm never doing it. They're done.
They should. I mean, again, they should win. I think they are the slightly better team. But again, neither team, based on PFF rankings, has really played anybody. They have the 2 easiest strength of schedules. So
yeah,
that alone kind of. I mean, I guess they both got to play the Jags. They both got to play the Jets. So that's just going to drag your strength of schedule down no matter what. I think they both played Detroit as well. So they have had very easy schedules and have taken care of the teams that they should take care of and have had close-ish games against the teams that are better than them. And it's led to them being, 1 game over 500. So you're just coin flipping all of these games basically with either of these teams. And I'm going to take the better jersey and I'll go with Cincy. No feel for the over on this one either. I would stay away from it betting wise too. This game could go any one of 4 different ways. I could see close either way or blowout either way. Which also makes me want to stay away from the over under. So next game, the Packers visiting the Ravens. The Packers giving 4.5. The Packers are 11-2 against the spread this year, which is absolutely insane. If you wanted to make any money betting this year, you just take whatever the line is with the Packers and collect, which is pretty crazy. Rodgers still dealing with a toe that I guess got a little worse after the Bears game, but he said he's fine enough to play, doesn't want to get surgery. They're 5th in PFF rank for defense, 2nd for offense. They've played a mediocre strength of schedule, but they look like contenders. The Ravens have been struggling and sputtering. No clue what Lamar's situation is and how healthy he's going to be. This kind of is a letdown spot, I feel like, for the Packers, but it's not like they have any tough teams coming up that they would be looking ahead to. They play Cleveland, Minnesota, and the Lions to close out their year. So this should just be like a tune-up, get ready for the playoffs game, and they're trying to lock up that number 1 seed. I don't know if the Ravens figure it out here, but with a banged up Lamar, I just don't. He's not a good enough passer, I feel, to make up for it when he can't run.
I mean, is he even playing?
We don't
Have
know.
they confirmed if
He's just questionable right now.
You know,
So
it's funny that you say he wasn't a good passer, but at the one point this season he was the best in the NFL running and
have you watched him
passing.
throw
Yeah, but I think he's hurt.
the whole year? I'm not saying recently.
No, yeah, I watch him throw. It doesn't look natural.
No, the flight on his ball is not like a natural flight. A lot of them are ducks that just happen to come down in the arms of Hollywood Brown because he's just faster than everybody else. So I just don't think he's I think he's a serviceable passer, and his legs allow for him to have more openings and his receivers to get more open because the other team has to spy him or play man and then have like the safety come down in the box. So they get some favorable matchups. I don't think he's a great passer. He's a great quarterback. I just don't think he's a great passer.
Also, since we started doing our picks in week 9, just looking over these, they haven't played a good defense. At Minnesota, Miami,
The Bears, the Browns,
Browns. They beat the Browns twice, right?
who are a good defense.
So it's just like, I mean, yeah, they beat them in week 12, but then in week 14, Cleveland ended up taking that game, and with Lamar being hurt and him possibly just not playing, I don't see them beating Green Bay. Like, I don't see a possibility or a reality where they beat Green Bay here. I genuinely like I don't know. I've had this weird, like, I just don't like Baltimore. Like they at like I was saying, when they were 8-3, they were the worst 8-3 team. Like,
I think they're better than you give them credit for. I just don't. This game, I mean, we don't know if. I imagine Rodgers will start, but I don't like. I mean, we don't know who it could be. Rodgers versus Huntley, Rodgers versus Lamar. Jordan Love versus Lamar, or Jordan Love versus Huntley.
I haven't seen anything to say that Rodgers isn't playing.
So I could see this game going in Baltimore's favor since it's at home. I just don't have the gall to pick against Green Bay right now.
11-2 against the spread. It's crazy.
Insane.
Absolutely insane. The only games that they lost in terms of covering are against the Saints, where they looked awful week 1 because Rodgers was away from the team for like 6 months and off, doing crystal therapy. And then when they lost to the Vikings in week 11, and they were favored and they didn't cover because they lost. So those are their only 2 losses against the spread. It's absolutely insane what they've done this year. They've been favored in basically every game except 4, and they've covered in all of those. So it's kind of insane, regardless of like who wins this game. It's just kind of crazy that they've covered so much this year. All right, Seattle going to LA giving 4.5. Last week for me was kind of like a get right game for the Rams for real. I know they beat up on the Jags, but then they dropped 30 on Arizona, and their defense minus Ramsey looks great. Odell looks good, who I believe is also in COVID protocol now, as well as Ramsey still in COVID protocol. So we shall see if they actually play this week. The Seahawks have come alive. They've dropped 30 the last 2 weeks, 33 against Houston, 30 against San Fran, but it's taken some turnovers and fake punts to get them there. So I don't think they are back. DK looks terrible. Russ just their connection just isn't there this year, and he just hasn't been able to get DK the ball, which is a problem. Rashad Penny finally emerged 4 years later as like against the Texans as somebody who actually looks like they belong on the field. But they did not look good against the Rams in week 5. It's also when Russ like broke his finger or whatever, and then he was out obviously until after their bye. I think at home LA gonna be fired up, ready to get a divisional win, and close the gap on Arizona, or at least keep pace with Arizona, since we think Arizona's got Detroit this week. So I think the Rams though pretty easily take care of business against Seattle, who's just not a very good team this year.
ESPN has Cup projected at 30 points on their fantasy leagues. ESPN had him at like 28, I think. Let me double check that. It might have gone down a little bit. I think it's like 26 now, but ESPN had him at 30. And I feel like, goodbye, Bryce.
He's back. He's back. I fucked up.
I feel like with Odell being out, obviously they're gonna have like triple coverage on Cup, but that dude just still somehow finds a way to get open, regardless of having the entire defense cover him.
He's a wizard.
I don't understand it, and I'm really hoping they have him in a bubble right now, so he's also not on the COVID list, because I'll just delete my whole team if he goes down, because there's no point to living anymore.
The football team just added eight more players to the COVID list.
8 more? Is it too late that I can change my pick?
That brings them to 18.
They have 18 people on the COVID list. Oh,
I feel like do we roll with it, or do we get like a redo? That's a lot.
It's my show. I will allow you
I was gonna say, I kind of want to not pick Washington.
I will allow you to change
on the COVID list.
I will allow you to change your pick to Washington, but you're not allowed to have a lock then.
Can I have it? Nope, I'm good with that. I'll keep them.
I need that lock though.
Yeah. Same here. I can take it out.
Really need that lock. Yeah, no, we'll leave it then.
Yeah.
I gotta stick by my guns here. Mango lost Summit, so Philly's still gonna lose.
All right.
I didn't see the list of players for what it's worth. I don't know if it's like, it didn't really look like any big names, but I haven't read the whole article. So,
all right. So you guys brought up a lot of good points with the Rams and Seahawks game. I want to bring up another one. It's about Cooper Kupp. If there was a what is it called? I'm blanking right now. I had it in my head. What is it called in baseball when you're leading 3 different stats?
Triple Crown.
Home run.
Triple Crown. Yeah.
Home run.
He's leading in receptions, 113 yards, 1489, and that's by like 200 plus, and touchdowns, 12.
So he's gonna win the Triple Crown of receiving this year.
He might as well. I feel like he's got to be one of the MVP candidates, right? Like, that's insane.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a quarterback award, but yes, you're right.
I think he might. I think for non-quarterback, it'd go to him or Anderson.
He could very well win like Offensive Player of the Year.
But I just thought that
100%.
was some pretty pretty good stats. That's insane.
I
I
know
don't
you
know if
haven't.
it's been done.
I know you haven't typed it in yet, but I put you down for. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
I can't believe you would just do.
Sorry, I made an assumption. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, how could you?
No, I'm taking the Seahawks.
All right, do it. I dare you.
Nah, I'm good.
I'll let you switch your Washington pick if you switch this one to the Seahawks.
There's a fun tidbit for the next game.
Wait,
Winston is
before we move on,
okay,
hold on. Do you think for fantasy next year, Cooper Cup is the first receiver taken?
Yes.
In my league, no, because he's going to be my keeper. So,
Well, in regular redraft,
but in regular, yeah, no, I
Like,
think
you
he's going to
think-
get scooped up immediately.
you think he hops over Devontae?
Oh yeah,
I think
I
so
mean,
too.
you can't really go wrong. It's a 1A 1B, right?
Well, I don't know if Devontae is in Green Bay next year. Because if Rodgers leaves, I don't see Devontae staying. Why would you? You don't want Jordan Love throwing you the ball. So
Right, no.
I'm with you guys. My only hesitation with that is like I don't like drafting guys who just came off of career years because there's regression that's
I mean, yeah.
gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It'd just be hard, like if you're positioned in the middle of the draft or later on,
Yeah,
and he's still on the board, say pick from 6 to 9.
right.
Like you can't pass that up.
Yeah, 'cause,
especially after the career year. Like I just told, like those stats, he's winning games single handedly.
Yeah, I mean, like who else would you Justin Jefferson? Would that be your like
Maybe.
2 Devontae if you want to, depending on where he goes? Like those are like your top guys. You're not
Yeah.
taking D Hop. You're not taking DK. So I think he's probably going to be the consensus number 1 receiver off the board. I was just curious what you guys thought. It always scares me to take a guy coming off a career year just because of regression is going to be
I mean, it's
there.
interesting to think because like we could also talk about it for the next game too. Like Brady's got one more year on his contract, like, and then he's going to retire. So, do we see
And
him
he just keeps
having?
getting better and better.
And he's literally first in like every stat for quarterbacks right now.
He sold his soul.
Yeah,
Yeah. This is the Sunday night game. So we have the Saints are kind of terrible, but what was your stat about
I was gonna
this
say
game?
if Winston was playing this game, I would take New Orleans because he's the only quarterback to beat the top 1 teams, top seeds, basically.
Interesting. Yeah, I really don't have anything that would make me think that the Saints would win this game. I mean, Kamara looked healthy last week against the Jets, but the Bucks run defense is the like best or second best run defense in the league. They have the number 1 PFF rated offense. I think Brady wants to throw 50 touchdowns again and win the MVP. I think he wants to have both the oldest MVP awards under his name. And they have a cake schedule to close the year. So I just think that they come out, and I don't know about the 10.5, to be honest. Just divisional game, and we'll see how the Saints look, but maybe Taysom can do some interesting things with his legs to kind of keep him in it. But I really don't see New Orleans. I know they're kind of fighting for their playoff lives, but they're not really a playoff caliber team. The Bucks are a legit Super Bowl contender again, unfortunately, because just makes me so mad that Brady's so good. But we're literally witnessing like the Michael Jordan of football.
Brady wants to die on the field. He wants to get like he's gonna throw just like the best season next year, and then a game like he's going to the Super Bowl, final play of the game, gets sacked, his head just comes off or something. Like
the craziest thing with him is like you look at guys drafted after him who are old, right, or were old. Phillip Rivers, Big Ben, Eli. They all had their arm strength just fall off a cliff, and like Phillip Rivers was like throwing sidearm just to get the ball out there last year with the Colts. And you look at like Peyton, I know he had the neck surgery, but he was throwing noodles out there his last 2 years. And you just have Brady, who he's never been like a guy with a huge arm, but his passes still have snap and they're accurate, and he can throw out routes still.
Whatever the regime he had that like during the Patriots days, like they must have had him locked into a machine. Just pumping what's the like what
They're pumping
the
adamantium into him or something.
yeah
He's just Wolverine.
like
It's
he's
just
got metal bones.
It's crazy. I don't understand. He has beaten Father Time, and it's not fair. Father Time's got to be pissed. Sorry, Bryce. Enough fawning over Tom Brady.
No, you're good. I think unfortunately, like this sounds probably morbid, but after he's done with football, I could see him being like something bad happening, right?
Like his body finally just like
Yeah,
falling apart.
Yeah, and or something like that. But getting to my pick, I think New Orleans will cover. I think Tampa Bay's not good against the run, and with Taysom Hill and Kamara being there, I think they'll be able to do something, but not enough to pull off the upset. So obviously, I will go with the Tom Brady Buccaneers.
I think they're still ranked like in the top 5 against the run. They just haven't looked as good the last few weeks.
Well, the games that they've lost and or been close have been teams that have been able to start run the ball against them.
Yeah,
so.
I mean Jonathan Taylor was able to run pretty well against them, but like I guess the Bills don't really have a run game, so you can't even say that the Bills could do anything even if they wanted to. So, but mobile quarterbacks, I guess, can get some things done against them. So we shall see. I think this is a pretty easy Bucks win, but New Orleans probably covers, I think. But it should be a good Sunday night game at least, or at least entertaining. Watch touchdown Tom throw like six touchdowns again, and just really solidify his MVP candidacy this year. All right, final game. Bryce, you have the floor.
All right. So, what does it say about your franchise or your team when you score the most points you've scored in the last like 4, 5, 8, whatever the whole season, and you still get blown out 45-30?
Yep.
Man, and then Matt Nagy, they're down 11 with like 4 minutes to go, and he punts the ball, 4th and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Dude. And then he comes out on Monday and says, "Yeah, I probably should have gone for it." What? Why? Like, it's just a headache being a Bears fan, and I don't know. All right, so that's my tangent about them sucking is, but Kirk Cousins isn't good against the Bears as a starter. He's 1-5. But all 4 of them have been nail biters. Neither team can stop the run. So Dalvin Cook, he looked pretty good last week. Pretty good.
He did.
The Bears also scored 30 points. They looked better. Justin Fields looked okay. He had a couple, head scratchers. My homerism is coming in. I want to pick the Bears. Just because I mean Minnesota's up and down all year. They lost to Detroit. We beat Detroit, so like we're better technically.
Yeah, that's definitely how the NFL works.
Yeah.
No. You know what? I think the last Monday night game was Justin Fields against Pittsburgh. Or he was starting. You can take that Vikings down, by the way.
Oh wow! After all that shit talk.
Well, I'm getting to my point to why I'm going to pick the Bears. I think this is his coming out party, and I think he teabags Kirk Cousins.
Oh.
Like Joey Bosa did.
Go ahead, Derek, because I have some words for this man. So you go ahead.
Everything I am reading is picking the Bears, and I hate it. I hate this week. Like I don't know, man. You guys are gonna have great arguments as to why I should pick the Bears, but just like something inside of me is telling me not to pick the Bears.
Inside of me.
And if it's gonna be like our previous weeks, is that if I pick Minnesota and you pick the Bears, I'm gonna lose those games this week because I won all of them last week, and so I think I hate this game enough to where I don't want any of us to get a win on it. So I'm gonna pick the Bears. That way, if they lose, we all get the loss again.
I hate that you did that. So I just
Me
want
or
to say
him?
more him than you. But I just want to say, so we have for everybody watching, we have a little chat that we talk about, you know, this kind of leading up to it every week. And I let them know that I had a surprise kind of and that I was going to be picking the Bears and I can't wait to talk about it. And Driz roasted me for saying I was going to pick the Bears like I was some sort of idiot.
Hey, hold on, I didn't roast you. What?
I mean, you
I
made
didn't
it.
even
I
say-
roasted you. That was
Hold
me,
on.
not
Oh, you
not
wrote.
Bryce.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe.
what was I about to say?
Oh, okay. Pika
Whoa,
roasted me.
whoa,
Well, I guess
whoa,
I have no.
whoa.
I have no words for you then. I'm sorry.
Jeez,
I
what
came.
the hell? I didn't even.
I came at your neck and I was not correct. I apologize. So here's my reasoning for taking the Bears here. I think Justin has looked a lot better, obviously, against Green Bay. And then if you go back 2 games prior before his rib injury, I think he was starting to turn the corner. If you look at like the Steelers Ravens game, I think he looked better. And then obviously Detroit and Arizona he didn't play. So um, I think he's ready for his coming out party. Like you said, I think Minnesota's defense is not good and can be taken advantage of. I do think Matt Nagy's an awful coach and should be fired.
Agreed.
But the
Yeah.
Bears have played the 3rd toughest schedule this year. So
Oh, don't say that. If you say that out loud, they'll go to Ryan Pace and George McCaskey, and they'll be like, "Well, we did this and this." Man,
I know they're 4-9 and they have a terrible record, but they have played a tough schedule. So it's not entirely like Justin's fault and the offense being bad per se, which it has been, but it's been a tough schedule. I don't trust Minnesota. All they do is play 1-score games. So they're giving 3.5. I will, regardless of if the Bears win, I will take those points. Give me the 3 and the hook in games with the Vikings and all day, especially the Bears at home in a divisional game. Like that has bet the Bears written all over it. I also like the over in this game. I think the Bears can put up at least 20, and the Vikings can put up at least 20. So I think you're going to get 40 easily, and then you need the extra 6 to win probably. So I like the Bears here. As crazy as that is, I actually feel better about picking the Bears here than I did about picking them against Detroit on Thanksgiving somehow. But I just feel that they'll probably split this series with the Vikings, and then they play again in Week 18 in Minnesota. And it makes sense that they would split because they're both not good teams, and they just both win their home games. So I like the Bears. I thought I was going to be the only one on the Bears, as much as Driz is a self-loathing Bears fan and hates picking them. I really thought you were going to go Vikings here. I'm very surprised.
If this game was any other time, like Thursday night, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, I think Minnesota wins. But I just think Justin Fields has that like X factor. He has that. He gets up. He wants to put the team. I mean, not the team, the city on his shoulders, and take them to the Super Bowl. That's how much he wants to win.
Also,
and I think this is the game he does that.
Danielle Hunter is on their COVID list, and Thielen's probably not playing. So you have like their essentially best edge rusher not playing, and the 1B receiver that all Thielen does is catch touchdowns. Like, I know KJ Osborne scored last week, but it's not like he's better or more valuable than Adam Thielen is. So I think hopefully, and it's putting a lot of faith in the Bears coaching staff, they can scheme enough around Justin Jefferson that all they have to worry about is stopping the run. And I think it's going to be close. It's not going to be like the Bears are going to blow them out, because I don't think the Bears are capable of blowing anybody out, but I definitely think they can win at home. So I am riding with the Bears as well. I can't believe this is one of the games that we are all in lockstep on, which means we're all losing, but it'll be a fun Monday night game.
So much. There's so
I'm
many
ready
games
for
I
it.
hate
I'm
this
ready
week.
for it. Let's do it.
All right, let's lock them in. I need to check real quick and make sure I have not picked this team before. All right. My lock is going to be a slumping Buffalo Bills team against a terrible Carolina Panthers team. I was thinking about going on one of the like Oppo teams, like maybe Philly, now that the COVID stuff got announced for Washington. But as much as I'd like to get a +2 on you guys, I just want to make sure I lock in a win. So I'm taking the Bills.
Oh boy, there's a lot of games in here that I just don't like. But I've already picked Arizona, so I can't pick them. And I believe I've already picked Tampa Bay. Let me check. Hold on. I have not.
You
I
have
think I'm
not
going to go with
picked
Tampa
Tampa
Bay on
Bay?
this one. I have picked New Orleans, but I have not picked Tampa Bay, so I'm going to. Oh, I'm putting that in the wrong spot. I will go with touchdown Tom here and hope that he can carry me to my lock and go with Tampa Bay this week.
I like it.
All right, we're gonna start the win streak back up with a easy America's team, Dallas.
New England.
Well, I would take them, but I already took them, so I can't pick them again.
Ah, that's true.
You should have
You
locked
haven't
in
taken the Chargers yet, though.
You should have locked in the Bears.
Should have. Yeah.
I thought about it, but I mean, I guess we all took Chicago and Dallas anyway. But
All right.
I mean, each lock we all picked. So
this one took a little bit longer than.
Yeah, I think we had more talking points, which is, I mean, it's okay.
We also had more disagreement this week than some of the other weeks, so a little more to touch on, but
and some fun news.
Some fun news, and I think this is going to be a fun week. I'm really excited for this week.
Be a lot of red.
Probably. It's going to be
too much red.
after having the week we had last week as a collective, it's going to be bad. Or one of us is going to do extremely well and the other two are going to do extremely poorly. So, but yeah, thank you as always, boys, for participating. Pika's going to be starting his stream up, so y'all...
No, I was, but this went a little bit longer than I anticipated, so since it's already 9, I'm just going to probably stream tomorrow instead.
No, that works as well. I'll have this up on YouTube before I go to bed tonight for anybody who wants to watch who didn't get a chance to. I appreciate everybody hanging out as always and being here watching. Are we playing Destiny? Is that...
Yeah, do we want to run some dungeon? Or no, sorry, Nightfalls is I thought we were doing.
Yeah, I'm in.
Just give me like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
Take a little break.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill my stream as well and cut this up, and then we can reconvene for some dungeons.
All right, I'm winning the whole thing, just so you guys know.
We know. All right, I'll see you boys in a little bit. All right, everybody. Thank you, as always, for being here. And yeah, like I said, we'll get this cut up. It is getting late. This ran a little bit longer than expected. Thank you, Birdie, for the sub. Thank you, the Rob Bob, for the follow. We do this Wednesdays. Why camera not in box? Oh, it's because I'm streaming on Discord still. Hold on. Let me fix that, because it doesn't like to capture two things at once. There we go. I'm back. Yeah, we do this Wednesdays for anybody who is new hanging out here. And we pick every game every week, talk a little bit about spreads, a little bit about over-unders, but we're just picking on the money line and having a little competition for sushi dinner. So it's been fun. We had a great week last week, and we'll see how this week goes. And yeah, my Twitter, which is on the screen, I'll have the YouTube link posted there. So as always, appreciate everybody, and I will catch y'all later. Peace.